guys, it's Chris, Natural Progressive. I have Val, I have Whitney, and I have Jim right here. I gotta move that. Sorry, the Natural Progressive thing is right in Jim's face. That's not cool at all. Let's fix
Oh, you're
that.
not missing much.
Anyway, let me pull up my chat so I can say hi to everybody.
And how is everybody tonight?
Yes, how is everybody? Osama's here.
Breathing.
Jane's here. Pat the Batman Finn. Oh my gosh, I forgot to invite Pat. Damn it. Damn it, Pat. If you want to jump on, I don't know. Here's the link, just in case. You're always welcome on. We're gonna talk about some fuckery and stuff. As usual.
Yeah, political fuckery.
Yeah, I mean that's
Hello, Gene.
So
Hey, Gene.
Ecosphonot is here, and let's see. I know because I was here earlier, but he had to go. I saw TRC Galaxy in the room. Of course, Osama. Much love, Osama. Anthony Davis.
Zokolix.
Zox is here. Yay, Zox.
Science Talk with Jim Massa. Oh, there he is.
Boiled rope lamppost. Megadose vitamin C. Okay, we have a proper awesome. I'm going to add you because you've been here the last few times. So you are now part of the club. Welcome, boiled rope lamppost. welcome. So, Jim, let's start out really quick. We're going to get back to the political side of it, but we always have to start with a little eco science stuff going on. And I wanted Jim to update us on what's going on with the temperatures in Whitney too. You guys have a great collaboration there. So let's start off with that.
Well,
the political bullshit.
The winter of 2019-2020 continues to be an ass kicker up here. Coldest in 25 years, second coldest in 44 years.
Then the planet isn't warming, right?
Well, see, here's the thing.
I know.
We're not setting record low temperatures, but we've just been consistently having low temperatures throughout for the last 3 months, really. If it were not for global warming, we'd be in the deep freeze. Seriously, we'd be in the deep freeze. Because when you look at the values of the indices, there's some of the highest positive values ever calculated, which would put us at really severely cold temperatures. Now, there have been places around Alaska, out in the villages, where they have been 55, 60 below. Fairbanks, we've kind of escaped that mostly. I think the coldest we've gotten was 44 below, something like that. But we're in this weird thing that's like it's either very, very cold, or when the cold abates, it's because a major snowstorm moves in, drops a shitload of snow, moves out, and the temperatures plunge again. And that's just what happened this weekend. We had a little warming because we had clouds move in. It dropped 10 inches of snow and moved out. And the temperatures are tanking. We'll be back down to 40 below for overnight lows this week.
Oh my gosh, are you expected to warm up like a crazy whiplash effect too?
Well, because we're in March now and the sun is higher in the sky. So now the solar input energy is significant to warm during the day. So yes, it gets 30, 40 below overnight, but by middle of the daytime, middle of sunshine, it will be like 10 below, maybe 0, depends.
Wow.
So it does warm up so that it becomes comfortable. I mean, I like 10 below. It's a good temperature.
Yeah, it's balmy. That's a balmy.
It is. It is. It's extremely balmy.
That's
extremely balmy.
We used to experience those temperatures here, but that doesn't happen anymore. Just saying. I mean, and we're in high desert. But hello, Kevin Hester. He says we're interrupting his study for tomorrow's episode of Nature Bats Last, featuring George. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name, but just Kevin Sandler. Yeah.
Crocodiles.
I don't know. But he's been interviewed by a couple people in our sphere recently, but Kevin's going to interview him. Cool. make sure you guys catch that interview. It's got to be really good. Let's see. Who else am I just saw Anita's here. Yes, Anita's
Yes.
here. And
And
Kevin, I still
Gene,
have to get you on to talk about all this crap that's going on.
One interesting, Whitney and I just I think Whitney just posted that video.
Yeah, I kind of went crazy
to our
today.
channel.
Yes, your first
when you look at
collaboration. I noticed. That was awesome.
when you look at the graph there, it's literally like someone drew a line right across the pole, right over the North Pole. Because you look on the North American side of things, it's colder than usual. You look on the Eurasian side of things, including Scandinavia, it's warmer than usual. It's literally that's why I came up with the term the bipolar polar, because it's literally a split.
It is crazy. Yeah, and the same with the U.S. I mean, because the far west is warmer than usual, and then the eastern side is colder. Is that not right? I mean, seems like it to me. And it's looking.
Well, you have to take into account not only what the Arctic Oscillation is doing, what the Arctic Dipole is doing, what the North Atlantic Oscillation is doing. We have to look at all of those, because we're now finding out that those are not they're three separate entities, but they're not separate from each other. They kind of influence and, well, not they're doing it consciously, but they're influencing each other and affecting each other as to what happens. So, and that's what we're seeing.
Absolutely makes sense.
But here's the other thing: because of global warming, remember, warmer air can hold more moisture. This is why we've been getting so many significant snow events, because there's more moisture in the air. It just happens to come down as snow.
Did you see those houses on the East Coast that got just pummeled by the nor'easter, and they're like covered in thick ice? Did anyone see that today?
I didn't see it, but being originally from there, that doesn't surprise me.
No, they were severely covered in ice. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture really quick. But you can keep gabbing about it. But we're gonna move on to coronavirus
and those damn politicians.
Yeah.
Those silly politicians.
Oh, I don't know how to look.
Well, while she's looking, we have this thing going on, this tiny little itty bitty virus that is causing so much havoc in the country. The virus is so small, it's fuzzy on electron microscope. And
they usually are.
And yeah, and it's a killer in the killing sense, you know. And of course, the politicians are using it to against each other. Trump is totally screwing up everything. You know, you might as well ask a third grader questions about coronavirus if you're asking the president. You know, he's screwing it up so badly. So he's not on, the president doesn't appear to be on task as far as, I mean, a lot of his answers are just silly.
Come on.
Don't you think, Christine?
Yes, absolutely. He's a dumbass. Okay, so look. Look at this. Can you see this house here? This just happened. In case.
Okay, yes.
Sorry, you'd have to. Sorry, I didn't share the screen. I just put it on. The people in the chat can see it, but yeah, these houses are freaking nuts. Like covered in ice. Like seriously.
Wow, that's crazy.
Right? That's just insane. So, anyway, had to show you that real quick. So that's happening. There's that. We have disaster after disaster after disaster happening right now, and all the Democratic and Republican parties are just using whatever they can. They're just scratching, trying to keep power. Both sides are trying to do that. There is kind of a concern. I'm gonna pull my chat back up. Sorry. There's kind of a concern that, for one, the Democrats are going to use it to keep people out of the polls during the primaries.
Really?
For Super Tuesday. And so they're maybe, pushing it and saying it's horrible, whatever, that this virus is worse than it is, causing alarm to keep people out of the polls, because if there's a lower turnout, then there's a better possibility that one of the establishment people will win. So that's kind of the Democrat side that I can see. And then there was a Trump administrative person who was on one of the news channels saying that um, maybe Trump might have to enact some special measures because of this virus, and he, enact special privileges, and if he doesn't win the nomination, the coronavirus is still bad, and he doesn't have um, the good economy to play, to get support.
The support of
He has the ability to call off the election, to put it off. So,
yes, it does.
and his supporters would be all for it. So, I
Pretty
mean,
much.
they're already saying they want it to be pretty much a monarchy or oligarchy or something, where all of his family just in session. They think that. I mean, in succession, they want, Trump Jr., Barron, all that,
Yeah.
all the Trump people. They just want more Trump people in charge. I think they're fucking nuts.
Yeah, there was a Republican poll a while back. They polled Republicans and they said, who do you want as the successor for Donald Trump? And one was Mike Pence, which was interesting, but the second was Donald Trump Jr. And that was the article, and that goes to your point.
And then his daughter Ivanka and all that. It goes on and on. They want all just to keep the Trump regime in power, and it's like,
they're watching too much Game of
nuts?
Thrones. It was Thrones. Everyone thinks of monarchies now. Game of Thrones ruined us.
I know, but
I mean, really,
we live in the USA. They chant USA, USA. Are we a fucking monarchy? Are we an oligarchy? Are we that where only, there's royals that rule over us? Is that what we are about? Is that what we come down to? Not that it fucking matters, because the world is going to end really soon. because, okay, coronavirus may not kill people in itself, but it could bring down the whole entire financial system, and which I'm kind of rooting for. Sorry, guys, but I am.
Hey,
but
ecological reality.
It could totally bring down the medical system, overwhelm hospitals very quickly. No, it's not the flu. The flu has a 0.1% death rate and doesn't spread as easily as this virus does. This virus has a not rating. What do they call it? A not rating of like 4 to 7.
Between 2 and 3.
Or the flu is like 2. So
no, the flu is even lower.
Okay. What I heard was the flu was 2 not, and okay, this is bad.
No, it's actually the R naught for the flu is about 0.9 to 1.1.
Yeah, it's very low.
Yes, for the coronavirus, I've seen
4 to 7.
I've seen. Can I get my?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, keep interrupting me. For the coronavirus, I've seen values ranging from 2.0 to 2.8. That's what I'm seeing.
4 to 7.
But to put in perspective, the influenza of 1918, the estimates are I've seen as high as 4.7 for that.
Okay, well,
and I think the Spanish influenza was more deadly. So, because this is in the early stages yet, but that was a more deadly situation than this. So I'm more inclined to go with the 2.1 to 2.8 estimates for now.
Okay.
But that's not. But I'm an oceanographer.
I know. But you're still a scientist, so you're probably better than any of us.
At 2.8, whatever, when there's a small amount of people, that's not very many people. But as it builds up, and you have 1,000 who are spreading it to 2 to 3 people, each one of those 1,000, each one of those spreads that R naught number to 2 or 3. It rapidly goes exponential. Also, want to remind everybody, no one has immunity to it. There is no immunity. There's no herd immunity.
Vaccination. No.
There's no vaccines available. The incubation could be up to 21 days. People can walk around I said up to 21 days, but 14 to 21 days. It's a novel virus, so it's not under, scientists are right now breaking it down. Its mode of transmission is airborne.
Which is scary.
Yeah, which is pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surfaces up to, I heard up to 9 days. Don't quote me on that.
Right, but I heard that too. Yes, it kind of depends on the surface, but yes. So you're best to carry around toilet paper with you. You know,
Right.
put it on. You know, carry it with you. Tear off some sheets.
Is it the R? Is it R0 or RO?
It's R0, but or yeah, could be R.
It's actually said R naught.
I know, but I see it written different ways.
No, that's how it's pronounced.
Okay,
R naught.
These days, COVID-19. I'm just looking it up because I would rather have facts. So.
It's this virus is a nasty bug, and this virus was sent by nature to do a job.
Mm-hmm.
It has a job.
Well, I think absolutely it is one of those things that nature is fighting back, because
yes,
you know, nature always puts in their last word, and I think that's exactly what this is. At least I'm hoping and praying it is, which is horrible to say because I'm a compassionate person and I don't want to see anybody suffer. But at the same time, no matter what, people are going to suffer. So I'd rather see the end to it sooner rather than later.
And this virus has the capacity to do the job.
I can't read this fast.
Yeah, you guys hear about how there's 6 dead in Washington State now?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I posted that right after it happened because, yeah, it was right before Pence went and talked. And actually, I was on a conference call with my work, and I was bringing up the coronavirus with my work. And actually, I ended up being in charge of doing some best practices stuff for the virus, precautions for my job, me and one other person for the West, because that's where it's happening. And my division is, the Pacific Northwest. And so, yeah, so me and another person get to make
where did those
for the company.
Where did those fatalities take place?
Yesterday.
I mean,
it was
it like at a like a nursing home or assisted? So
yeah,
basically,
4 of them happened at a nursing home. So that's institutional spread, which is.
But also, what were the age of the people?
They were older.
Well,
because those okay, when you look at the groups that are most likely to succumb if they get infected, it's those who are elderly, young, have compromised immune systems, or have respiratory issues.
Of course, yeah.
Anyone who smokes is putting themselves at increased danger.
Shut up. No, I know that. Or anyone with a secondary morbidity, which I also have, whether or not I smoke. I also have a secondary morbidity. It's called this virus, an autoimmune disorder that affects my lungs and my kidneys and all that. So, yeah,
but nature
if I
loves
catch it, I will die. I already know.
No, you're not going to die. You're not going to die.
If I catch it, I would die. That's just
no. You got a YouTube show. That's not going to happen.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying if I catch it, I will die.
Maybe not.
Children have underdeveloped immune systems, so yes, they're vulnerable. They are, but they're not. They may get it, but they may be just spreaders, but they're not being symptomatic that much so far.
That to me is the most concerning part of it all, is that someone could be a carrier and not know it because they're not
right.
They don't show the symptoms,
and they're not testing.
So that is what will lead to more of this stuff spreading around. Whereas everyone who got it immediately shows signs of it, you can isolate things much more quickly.
And so, okay, let's read a couple of comments real quick. Sandy says, Environmental Coffee House, My husband works in a school and they have all kinds of precautionary shit that he has to do now in Western New York. I want to spray him when he comes home. Don't blame
Good
me.
idea.
Pink says Trump says the U.S. has a plan to contain the spread of deadly Gulf at its resort. CB says nursing home. Yeah, it was definitely a nursing home. And yeah, I understand that the older people are more susceptible, but just those deaths that like that just shows how fast it can spread, and they're not testing people. That's the problem. This is something I really wanted to bring up because I think it was Saturday or no, it was Sunday. It was Sunday. It was Sunday on the morning news. It was either Face the Nation or the other one that's on Channel 2 on CBS, where one of the Trump guys was saying that they tested like 3,600 people. And I'm like, I was just on the CDC website and it only showed that 472 people were tested. Where the hell is this number coming from? And then the CDC website, I went there again, still showing 472 people tested for it. But it said it would update on Monday. Um, it only updates 3 times a week, supposedly. But they had already updated the death that happened on Saturday, but didn't update the testing. And I was just, this information is not transparent. They're hiding shit. And that pisses me off so bad. I want them to be transparent. I want to know what's going on. And then, okay, so you go to the CDC site now, it doesn't show how many people are tested at all. That
Yeah,
part is gone.
I've got a couple of things to say. First, I want to address the comment saying that this was engineered. A detailed genomic analysis has been made of the coronavirus. It is natural. It is not judged. It is not an engineered situation. So let's put that to rest. It is naturally occurring. It did not. It's not a biological weapon. Did not escape from the lab. So let's not be spreading.
Yeah, let's not go there too bad. Yeah.
So let's not spread false stuff here.
Let's just deal with the problem as we know
natural it going on. As to what the CDC is doing with their website, that's called fudging data.
Yeah, it is.
And that is intellectually dishonest.
Yeah, it is. But they're also trying to. What?
Mike Pence said that he didn't. Mike and the Trump administration pretty much said that nothing is allowed to go out unless it goes through Pence first. And I'm pretty sure that's why they stopped putting out the testing numbers, especially since one of their administration people has been blasting all over that they've already done 3,600 tests, and by the end of the week there'll be 75,000 tests done. But now they stopped reporting on that, so we can't verify it. So that lack of transparency pisses me off really bad.
I'm gonna email Trump right away and tell him that you're pissed.
Yeah, tell him I'm pissed. It'll mean the world. He will just stop it right now.
The natural progressive is not going to put up with your shit anymore. Go ahead, Jim.
The people shouldn't put up with it. The people shouldn't put up with it. The people should say, here, listen here, dude. We want accurate information, timely information right now. We don't want you hiding this shit from us. Tell us how many people have actually been tested. Tell us the results of those tests as they happen, real time. Tell us where those people are that are tested positive so we know where they're at and we can protect ourselves. Let's do that. How about that? So
yeah.
It gets me is that when someone tried to smear climatologists for and they published some stuff saying, oh, they're using trickery with the data, when all it was just a trick to do analysis, much along the line of when you first learned derivatives and calculus, you taught using the difference quotient, then you taught the power rule. The power rule is a trick to do derivatives quickly. So this was a trick that climatologists developed to do analysis quicker.
Well, what you're referring to,
they were all. Will you let me finish?
That was out of. You got to tell them where.
Will you let me finish my point?
Me finish. It came from East Anglican University. What you're referring to were the emails. I'm just filling in it.
Yes, but damn it.
What?
Anyway.
Wasn't me this time.
The point I'm trying to make is they're all over the climatologists saying they're all full of shit like that. The CDC does this stuff. Where's the same outrage for this intellectual dishonesty?
There isn't any. Thank you for that. Yes, there should be a lot more, because that's not exactly if it's something that's scientifically you're trying to figure out answers to, as opposed to being transparent with information. That's totally different. They need to be honest and transparent.
Someone was saying that I said that not long ago, saying it's less deadly than flu. I never said such a thing. Don't misquote me.
No,
I never said
it's
such a
not
thing.
less deadly. It transfer.
I won't put up with that.
Okay, the flu kills more people, but this one's more catchy. Like, you get more people get it, but more people are less vulnerable, which is a very good trick for a virus to have, because it keeps the host surviving longer, so it can keep transmitting for longer and longer. Already this virus has killed more than SARS, more than MERS. Already, however,
this just started. This just started.
It's just started. But the percent of people who get it is a lower. I mean, their survival rating, they get less harsh symptoms,
Chris,
but the death rate is smaller, but more people get it. So overall, considering the entire population, more people have died from it.
I think, Christine, what you're going to see is this is going to look like a science fiction movie, like the movie Contagion. This is going to rapidly spread. The government, you may have noticed that Corona is on the news constantly. It is dominating the news. And pretty soon, that's all that's going to be on the news is Corona.
I'm kind of worried that it is, because usually when there's something all over the news, it's a distraction.
This one isn't.
I don't think this one is a distraction. I think they can't ignore it anymore. But usually, like the stupid politicized freaking Trump thing that they did, what was that? The impeachment process. That was a distraction. And meanwhile, the Democrats were passing all kinds of bullshit while we weren't paying attention. So usually there's a distraction, but I don't think this is it, because
this is
real. This is serious. People are dying. There's whole entire cities being shut down. And
Christine, yes.
What bothers me is people are really worried about their city being shut down more than they're worried about shutting down the virus. Which, I don't think the virus is. I don't know. I just want to see cities shut down. Okay, I want to see cities shut down. So I have an ulterior motive, and I have an agenda. I want to see cities shut down. So
wait about 2 weeks. This is the Black Swan event that people are wondering what will collapse civilization, and this is it. This is the shit hit the fan. You're going to see things that you're going to find unbelievable pretty soon, like schools closed.
So what are you guys doing to prepare? And Whitney has something to say. I saw it.
Oh no, I was agreeing with Val. The schools are closing, right? Like in Washington for sure. Like that Governor James, the guy.
Couple days. They should be closed for at least 2 weeks.
They're going to eventually be shut down. If students will be taking their lessons online.
If there was a child in
or
that
not
school,
at all,
they should have closed it down for 2 weeks and did this. They should already be doing that all across the country. And why not be proactive? Why are they? I mean, but this is human stupidity. So good, go.
Yeah,
all you religious people, keep going to church. Just keep going. Keep taking that sacrament. Sharing shit and hugging people and joining that little community every Sunday. Keep doing it. Don't learn from South Korea or nothing.
You're going to see
God
panic.
Will save you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In fact, that reminds me, like I was telling you, my sister was telling me, I was saying, well, Trump, he meets a lot of people, all kinds of people he's close to every day. And she said that God's going to protect Trump. Nothing's going to happen to him.
Yeah. Okay, can we talk about the Pope?
The Pope, yeah. So does he have?
We don't know. Do you think they would say if he did?
I think if he died, they would probably say the Pope's dead.
Okay, so Pope Francis has cancels attendance at Lent retreat. This was
Now
there was
also an Iranian minister to the Vatican that died of corona,
and there's several Iranian
and he was meeting with the Pope.
Politicians that are sick,
Oh.
and politicians are getting sick everywhere. I mean, but great politicians.
Yeah.
Keep going, keep shaking hands, keep
Yeah.
giving people hugs, keep kissing. No, don't kiss babies. But
Don't
well,
kiss
the babies
babies.
are pretty immune to it, so go ahead and kiss
So,
the
yeah.
babies. Just keep going, all you idiots. Preaching the gospel of antisocialism. Yeah, I'm trying, Oz. But
yeah, you're gonna notice things when people start bum rushing stores and start panic buying.
People already are. Have you not noticed it?
It's gonna increase.
It is going to increase. So far, I've just seen the masks and hand sanitizer. Those two things gone in the stores. I can't find them. But wait, I bet you Washington already has bare shelves in some of their stores. People are panic buying.
They're saying that they've traced some of the patients in Washington, and they said that it's been around in Washington for up to 6 weeks. That it's already been spreading in Washington for 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, and everywhere else. I'm sure Utah is horrible. Just okay, hold on. Let me read a couple comments.
There's nothing there in Utah, but you.
No, I will tell you. No, wait. I have a point about Utah. Just give me a minute, but let's read a couple comments first.
Okay.
Okay, because there's good comments going through. For people getting it twice is horrible. We're still trying to figure out what's going on with people getting it twice. Don't know how. I mean, yeah, if people get it twice, it's supposed to be twice as bad, but then we don't know how accurate that information is. So I'm gonna off on that one.
It could be that it manifests itself, but then the virus goes dormant before resurfacing.
Right.
Within the person.
This bug is a killer.
Okay,
I promise you that.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Osama is putting up. Paul Beckwith did a great video connecting coronavirus with climate. Actually, has like a 3-part series. So go to Paul Beckwith and check that out because that's really interesting. Pete Barrow, the president, said the U.S. is rapidly developing a vaccine for COVID-19 and will essentially have a flu shot for this in fairly quick manner. That's so misleading. Yeah, because we won't have one until at least 2021, and there's a lot of virus to go around before then. So, absolutely right, Pink. Go check out the Pink Barrio, people. He does some really good stuff on there.
Mr. Pink.
Yeah. Careful what you wish for. Your wishes are magical.
Paul McGinley.
Paul's. What did Paul have to say?
He said, I'm broadcasting from a different room.
All right. Okay. I listened mostly, so I missed a lot, but I heard enough. Okay, if it brings you peace, that is great, Anthony. Okay, did I miss what Anthony said? I'm missing things. Okay, I gotta skip down to more people. Okay, I constantly give myself permission to not go to anger, but it's infuriating. I relate.
Yeah.
That's really good, Martyr. Let's see. As a med cram for more info on Corona COVID. Check out MedCram. I've looked at MedCram. That's actually not a bad info.
Yeah, why don't we list out some of the good channels like Chris Martinson,
Peak Prosperity, and then there's Dr. John Campbell. I really like. But yeah, the MedCram is pretty good. They're
Canadian Prepper.
He's done some great videos. He did a rant on the mask today. That was pretty good.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
full spectrum survival is very good for advising on your preps.
Kevin is live now. All of a sudden, he's doing a lot of lives. Yeah, he is. All of
He
us are
is
going to
live.
start intersecting. Good thing I'm sick right now. I'm not doing anything. I know. Damn it, Kevin.
Hey.
This is my night. He needs to.
Yeah,
more.
Kevin, what's up?
It's my night every week, Kevin.
He needs to come here and on your channel.
I know.
Paul
He's been
McGinley.
on my channel before, by the way. I've interviewed Kevin from Blackbird News, by the way. Anyway, for anyone who doesn't know.
Paul McGinley, actually, we don't know how long it will take to create a vaccine. Could be fairly quickly. FDA will fast track approval. Of course, what will it cost people to obtain it? Capitalism.
And what will it cost in the lack of testing? Because if they don't test it, you don't know.
Or this illustrates why Medicare for All is needed, because now people will not go get tested because they can't afford the test, which I've heard in some cases it costs up to $3,200. So it's like, so you're gonna have all these sick people. You're gonna have all these sick people walking around because they can't afford to get tested and get treated.
They'll go to the emergency room when they're deathly ill, and then suddenly all these cases are going to pop up. But then by then, our healthcare system is going to be overwhelmed. We don't have a system. I'm sorry, but we just don't have the system like socialized countries do, where they have healthcare available to them. I mean, even a country like that got overwhelmed. Ours is going to get overwhelmed so fast. Because people go to the emergency room when it's like they can't do it. They're going to go to work because they don't make enough money or they don't have paid holidays, which is another thing that other socialized countries have. They have paid sick leave and all that. With our gig economy in this country, we don't have paid sick leave, so people are going to go to work sick and spread it even more. And I'm sorry, we are so fucked with people, you know. And my company isn't telling you to do that. I'm going to make that one of the big best practices. Stay home if you have a fever or a cough, which is what the CDC recommends. So they can't blame me for saying what the CDC recommends, but they're not going to like it. I can guarantee you they're not going to like it because they like you to go to work no matter what until you're on your deathbed, because that's the way companies are.
The U.S. is the only industrialized nation that does not have sick leave for workers. The U.S. is right now,
leave, and they should. And they're
the
telling
U.S.
people to
right
stay
now
home if they have a
is
fever or a cough. Will people
the
do
U.S.
that?
right now is so under and unprepared for this.
That's what I said. What was my last week's topic? The U.S. is the least prepared for this of all the industrialized countries. And I mean it. They are, for so many reasons. And that is one of the biggest ones, because people can't stay home when they're sick. They can't. They have to still work because they don't have any other choice. No other choice. They have to go to work. I've been there several times myself. I know damn well. I've been to work coughing, hacking, sick as hell. And what do? And then the minute I did call in sick when I was just too deathly ill to get out of bed, I got called a faker. Like, I didn't call in sick for 4 years at the same job. I call in once and they said I faked it to go to a concert, which I didn't go to. I was actually homesick. But because I was such a reliable person, Tough is messing up my bed. See that? Look at him. Yeah. He's such a little shit. Tough, you're naughty. He's so naughty. Oh my god.
He's cute though.
Yeah, so get used to staying at home and playing with your pets, because people are gonna stop going out to places.
I would love that though. To stay here with my animals, I would love it so much. I'm sorry no one else likes to be at their home, but I love my home. I love my
I hope that's the case, that you get to stay home all the time.
I would love it.
That's coming.
But I think by the time that happens, the rest of civilizations has collapsed, and I'm just like,
we're heading that exact direction, because we haven't even gotten into the aerosol masking effect and that knock-on effect, that 20% of Chinese industrial activity is gone. It's gone for months. Yeah, I see the dump.
Sorry, my dog is so fucking cute.
What is it doing?
He's just trying
It's
to make
making
a
a
bed.
nice spot.
I don't know why it's so funny, but it
I
is.
don't know either.
It's great.
Everybody's laughing at you, Taffy. Yeah, they are. They're laughing at you.
Aw.
It's hard to get the bed straight.
Did you get it picked out? Did you? Okay, good lady. He's such a dork. I love that dog. Anyway, I have a little red dog and a little red horse, and they're both the bestest. Get up, get up. Now that you messed it up, you're just gonna lay on the floor. Get up there. Get back up there.
Oh, that also reminds me of something else. When on your last Wednesday show, I was bringing that up about the animals.
Mhm.
They did have one dog that tested positive, but not. They called it weak.
Weakly
So they're
positive,
saying,
and it's likely because the owner had the virus that
right.
it was just as much as you get it on a surface, as much as
Right.
that
That's
animal
what they're
had it.
saying.
Yeah.
But the important thing is about that is that right now the virus is just attacking humans. If it was to spread to pets, dogs, horses, that would make
But
the
that's
problem
not
even
very
much worse.
likely, from what I understand.
Well, we're hoping so, because
No, I don't want to hurt the animals. I just want to hurt people.
right, I agree. But can you imagine if it goes to pets and then goes to feral pets in the street, and it would be unstoppable.
No kidding. Okay, wait. Back to comments.
I also want to mention Sandy mentioned, we were mentioning Chris Martinson and all that. She mentioned Hoople's cat, who's a nurse in Canada, so he's real good too.
Okay,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
pay attention to whoever Environmental Coffee House recommends. It's hard to watch two live shows at once. uh, Sandy's the same as me. I love my home. I never want to leave. I don't want to leave either. Aries Martin is here. Aries hasn't been here for so long. What's up with you? Aries says you are aware of deep underground cities and bays preparing for the microfauna stocking up down there. I say the country is preparing, just not as much for soon. They're going to be on the surface. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to save them at all.
For a while.
For a minute, yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm okay doing what I can do here on the surface layer. I mean, what are you guys doing? I've been stocking up just a little at a time for the last several weeks, adding canned goods, non-perishables to our storage, adding water supplies and things like
Good.
that. I think everyone should be doing that. Um, you don't know what's going to happen. You want a little time to be able to think about things, especially if we get forced to stay in our home for a couple weeks.
Absolutely.
We or more, possibly more. Even the CDC said to do that. So I don't think that's craziness to say you should do that. I mean, I think you're stupid if you don't, and then I think that's natural selection. People are stupid enough to go to church every Sunday and risk that, then natural selection. People don't want to supply what they can and stock up. Natural selection. I'm also trying to grow food. I don't know how successful I'll be with the crazy weather, but I'm going to do the best I can, you know? Night, honey. Have a good night. Love you too. Okay.
Gene said that this fits the definition of pandemic.
Oh, it absolutely does.
I think that this is going to be up there with the Middle Ages plague, bubonic plague, the Black Death.
It invaded 10 more countries since yesterday. Like, okay. And like a week ago, it was every continent but Antarctica. And now it's freaking everywhere. And now we had 2 days ago one day ago we had one death in the US in Washington, and now we have 6. So that happens pretty fucking fast. And then I looked up my coworker, the one that we're going to do the best practices for our work. He gave me a website to look up that keeps track of the cases and everything. Let me find it. But it's something that people are reporting, but this is like real time, and I was watching it like go up Oh my God. 90,000 cases suddenly. Let me find it. He texted it to me.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll put up this one for us. Quick minute, and then unshare it.
Okay.
Everybody's familiar with this one, right? The John Hopkins website. Everybody's familiar with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it's time to unshare it. So this one's pretty
But
concise.
that one's still lower than what this one says. This is the Health Link COVID-19 tracker. Okay, where'd it go? Now I can't figure out how to use it. It's an Apple app, so it's frustrating.
It's an Apple app on a Samsung phone.
I looked it up earlier and it worked. I don't understand why it's not working.
Yeah, Osama said, vote early, vote often. Very good advice.
Yes, hopefully people are
Be there or be square.
voting. Don't let politics or this scare. Although this is a real scare. This is a real thing. Just take precautions. Use lots of hand sanitizer. Keep your spacing.
Yes.
Social spacing, like 6 feet. Tons of hand sanitizer. Don't touch your face. Just be very aware of those things while you're there. But vote. Yes, please vote.
And doorknobs, watch, you have to go indoors everywhere. So, carry up toilet paper with you. People won't laugh at you with a roll of toilet paper, will they?
Of course they will, especially in this state.
Because, maybe you could wear it, and take it off as you need it.
Like one of the guys, the Trump supporter, like that I spent a week with, was on that phone call with the company today, and we were talking about the COVID-19 virus, and he's like, "It's all been overblown. We're fine. Nothing's gonna happen." Oh my God!
People are going to get a big surprise.
And that's the way everyone in Utah is. I have another friend that a really good friend that works at one of the stores I work at, but we've been friends for years and years. It's like, oh, it's nothing. It's all right. Okay, well, keep going to church, woman. Just keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're going to, and pretty soon the hospitals will be packed.
Did you see that? Was it I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, Daegu or whatever that place was in South Korea. Is it Daegu? Is it?
Yeah, I didn't quite get that one.
Yeah. Anyway, where it started in South Korea, it was a church that spread it all.
Yeah, it was actually a cult, but yeah, a church.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
anyway, the leader of that church was on his knees, bowing and begging forgiveness because of spreading it like he did.
And, okay, you're talking about the super spreaders who went to 1,000-person church and exposed 1,000 people. Yeah, and they, of course, everybody knows they're calling those people super spreaders.
Yeah,
that's a nice little term. Yep. So in my humble opinion, people are vastly underestimating this.
I think they are too. When you really think about the nitty-gritty of this virus, 80% of the people do not show symptoms. They're only testing people not only with symptoms, but with only extreme symptoms, or people who have had contact, not even just people who've come in from the countries that spread it, but only those with symptoms that come from those countries. So when you add up all the people that could have it that have already integrated into our population, it's insane. I'm sorry. It's got to be bad. It's got to be bad. I don't see how it can
I'm willing to put money on it. I have no doubt about it.
Tell Black Bear News that I'm on, for fuck's sake. Yeah. This is my regular night, damn it. I would be watching him if it wasn't my regular night.
You need to coordinate with him.
I know.
And say, hey, let's not be on. Let's do a double feature or something.
Let's not step on each other's toes.
Right.
We're supposed to work together, man. Come on.
It's a team. It's a team effort.
I know.
He's probably talking about the same thing.
Probably. He's probably talking about the 6 deaths in Washington and Pence's stupid ass thing, and lame his response was and how he wouldn't answer the question of how we're going to track how many tests are going to be done. And I swear to God, this morning it said 472 on the CDC website. And then I kept checking it and checking it and checking. It was like 10 a.m. here when it finally updated, but then it didn't show any numbers of how many tests were done. And they also took off the cases that came in from Japan at the cruise ship and all that stuff. They took those cases off, so it only shows 43 cases instead of the 80 something cases. They're rigging the results. They're making it look like the U.S. is so good because they were caught somewhere else. That's fine. I kind of get that. But at the same time, they let all those social workers come in and talk to those people that came in from the cruise ships without any protective wear on. And then those people just went out into the community again. Duh. I wonder why there's an outbreak, huh?
Yeah, the Trump administration definitely fucked that one up.
They fucked it up big time.
Let's not forget also that Trump purged a lot of specialists from the CDC.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then he cut the CDC funding as well.
And he took the money from the CDC to go to the stupid wall.
Yeah, the stupid fucking wall.
And by the way, and then he puts Pence in charge of this, Mr. Anti-Science, Mr. Anti-Evolution, Mr. Anti-Climate Change, Mr. The guy who was governor of Indiana, your state, I know, let an HIV outbreak increase tenfold.
Yeah, that was a town about 10 miles from here.
Yeah, meanwhile, he was criticizing China for taking it too lightly. At least the administration was. I don't know if it was him specifically for taking it too lightly and letting it get out of control. And yet they are taking it so lightly. They're like, it's fine. A miracle's going to happen and they're just going to disappear. He actually said that. There's going to be a miracle and they'll all just disappear like a miracle. That's what he said.
Yes.
I mean,
you're talking about Trump.
Yes.
Yes, Trump.
Stupid
he
moron.
Said that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Progressive is stocking up on ammo. Things are bad. We have quite a stock of ammo. We had it for quite a while, but yeah, things are bad. Test. We don't need no fucking test. I think Mario says. I'm pretty sure that's sarcastic.
He was.
A good
a little variation of The Wall by Pink Floyd.
Huh?
That like a little variation of The Wall by Pink Floyd. I
don't know Pink Floyd. I thought they were terrible musicians.
They have a song, brick in a wall. We don't need no education. There's a line in that song.
Okay, that one. That was a pretty good song. But I don't know the words because I've always listened to country. Sorry, guys.
I was just looking at my notes here. Peter White, a professor of virology at the University of New South Wales, says that most viral pandemics last 2 to 3 years. So you're looking at 2 to 3 years with this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you're looking at it.
We won't last that long.
We're not going to last that
dimming?
long. No. This isn't HIV. This isn't Zika. This isn't Ebola.
It's not SARS. It's not MERS. It's not influenza.
Right.
It's totally different.
It's a killer virus.
Yes.
It's a killer virus, and it's going to take out a lot of humans.
Yeah, it will.
And
no one's taking it seriously. I know my job's not really taking it serious. I mean, the only thing, this is why I brought it up in the conference calls, the only thing they've sent us is, oh, well, we've restricted travel to China and this place and that place. And so we're taking all the precautions. And so I'm like, what other precautions are you taking? What about the people here that don't travel outside the country? What are you doing to protect us from this virus? What are you doing? And then I had to back off a little bit, like, well, at least you can recommend regular hand washing, not, keeping some social distance and stuff like that. Meanwhile, we have a big, giant training plan in the middle of this month that I have to train hundreds of people.
Really?
Yeah.
That'll probably be canceled, hopefully.
I hope. It would be stupid to still hold it, considering
They're going to cancel a lot of things. A lot of things are going to be canceled. They're going to, here where I live, they have the Kentucky Derby. That's in May. They're going to have hundreds of thousands of people close, Churchill Downs. That's not going to happen.
They're saying they're not going to cancel the Olympics in Japan.
That's. I heard they were considering it.
I heard they were considering
they change their
it,
mind?
and then today I heard that they're not. They're not going to. They're just going to limit the audience or something. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what
heard
they're going to do.
A whole bunch of conferences and conventions around the planet are being canceled.
Pat, that's okay. Pat the Batman Fed, sorry I couldn't join you guys working still. Dang it, Pat. We would have loved to have you, but glad you're here listening anyway.
Everything is about to change.
Well, doesn't this go back to the global markets falling? I know, so the issue was that they fell pretty dramatically. They plunged last week.
Yeah, you can say that.
The largest fall since 2008 crisis, but now they're back up. So it's that just kind of tells me that the whole market is just it's unstable, even though there's records and
it's totally unstable.
If it's going down 1,000 points and then 1,000 points a day, it's just what? But yeah, canceling events is going to cripple the economy
But they don't want to do that. So they're going to do everything they can to make everybody feel everything's okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone's going to keep going about their business thinking everything's okay. And then our healthcare system is going to get overwhelmed by the people who actually get sick and need to go to the doctor. And they'll be going to the emergency room because they can't check in with their doctor, or they can't take time off for work. No. Even that, our healthcare system can be overwhelmed like that. It would be so quick. It would happen so fast.
And you got to think, if you're a nurse, a young nurse with kids, you got to think,
do I
got to go in here and I could get coronavirus. I could take this home to my kids.
Yeah, I don't think that U.S. nurses will be as unselfish as the ones were in China. That were just stumbling, tired. Did you see the videos of the nurses coming out almost falling over after working a double freaking shift, 24 hours straight, and they're barely able to walk? That's I don't know. Maybe some people would be that great here, but I think most of those healthcare workers are going to get sick. That's the other thing, because have you seen any doctors and all that wearing protective anything when they're seeing patients? They're not.
Well, they need to be. In fact, they need to be wearing biohazard suits.
They
not
should
just
be at this point. But do you think they are? They don't even have enough equipment here, PPE here.
No, they don't. They only have about 100,000 ventilators.
Yeah, the ventilators are going to be a problem.
They only have a certain amount of people who can do intubations. It's a very limited amount of people who can intubate people. And so it's an extremely tenuous situation. It's not good. It's not good. Just being honest.
I don't think it's good either. But there's some people that are worried more about their freedoms being taken away than the virus taking over everything.
Well, what's going to happen is the government's just going to roll in. They're just going to do things. There's not going to be a situation where I don't like this. Authorities are going to just do things.
You think that's going to give an excuse to have an authoritarian situation?
A militarized martial law, calling martial law. I think if people don't want to take precautions on their own, I think maybe that should happen, but I don't know. At the same time, it's well, let it fucking happen if people are that stupid. But, there's two sides of me. One says, let it burn. The other side's oh, I don't want anyone to die. I want everyone to be happy and safe. I have those two sides conflicting with each other constantly. Let it burn. Oh, poor people. Save everybody. Let it burn. Save people. Let it burn. Save it. I'm fucked. King Barrow says Mad Max. Yeah, I think we're getting to that. Oh, I'm a mess. My mind is a mess. I'm sorry. It just is. I'm torn so bad. Any good comments I'm missing? I can't see.
Pink Barrio, Mad Max.
Yeah, I read that one already. Can hot steam kill the virus? At least shopping carts and streets could be blasted with very hot steam, maybe mixed with Lysol. I don't know. Don't you worry a little bit about all the disinfectant they're spraying all over the streets and everywhere in all these countries? Yeah. Are you a little worried about that? Like, yeah. Because it's already killing animals. Pink actually did a story on that. I talked about it too, but after he did, he got that story first. But that worries me a little because if it's killing animals, if it's killing mammals, it's definitely going to kill insects. And what effect is that? Long-term effect is that going to have? So bad. There's nothing good coming of this.
There's nothing good coming point, other than
quarantine me to my house and let me just live out my days here. Right.
Mother Nature's pissed, and Mother Nature's, as Hambone often says, is getting out her broom and sweeping away people.
Right.
Can't the virus mutate too over time? Okay.
Yes.
So we could, yeah, go ahead, Val.
Yes, it can mutate in a very short amount of time. That's what they said. It takes 1 million years for mutations for humans and evolutionary changes. It can happen in a heartbeat. It's a simple RNA. It doesn't have DNA. It just has RNA. It can simply change rapidly, right, for the better or for the worse, but probably will change for the worse because I believe that it was sent here by Gaia.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not. But on the other hand, it could go better. It could be better.
Yeah, what was I going to say? Hold on.
I know. I forgot what I was going to say too.
The Gaia thing.
I was going to read someone's comment, but
wait, the vaccine. So they have a vaccine, and what the virus could potentially mutate, and that vaccine, like it can get out of control, basically. So, it can get All right.
90% of the time it works. It works, but this is not that time. That was good news.
Okay, I was gonna say, Gene said.
Well, wasn't that a problem with HIV originally? Was that the virus kept mutating, so they couldn't get an effective vaccine? Or
no. But they have one now. They have one now for HIV.
Well, they also have a bunch of antiviral agents. I don't know which I don't know if that counts as a vaccine per se, but they're available.
I'm not sure either.
Okay, comments.
Start with Paul McGinley. The summer will probably stop the virus before it stops our economy. Of course,
not necessarily. Just because it's already happening in really hot places that kind of like summer, and it's not stopping really. But places like Singapore and all that.
Well, it's probably going to be a lag effect.
Yeah, and then just as summer ends here, there's Australia that's getting it now, and they're just going to go into winter. And then, people still traveling back and forth. It's, who knows? But Jean has really good advice. Do not gargle with Clorox.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe the crazy stuff going online right now. It's insane. But good advice. Do not gargle with Clorox. This is crazy stuff. Jim, I always keep a 5-gallon brew pot of chaga going. Takes me.
That's a fungus.
2 days, and then I retop it off with fresh water. Get 5 or 6 pots from the same chaga. Chaga must be abundant there. What is chaga?
It's a fungus.
Oh, why would you want to do that?
Some fungus are beneficial.
Oh, okay. Like mushrooms.
If I recall correctly, I think it's the stuff that you see on trees.
Oh, okay. Virus goes into your cell to replicate. One treatment is to block the process at different stages. Good to know, Jean. Wish I was a scientist so I could figure that out. Or doctor. Nice to see a progressive in friggin' Utah. No shit, right? One of the few, the proud, the progressive Utah.
Yeah, she's mutated. She's a mutant.
I'm mutating constantly, by the way. Yeah, totally mutating constantly. But I'm really sad that I didn't go to Bernie today. It was today. Bernie had a rally here. and I was invited, but it was
He
right
had
in
a
the middle of my
rally in
work
Utah?
day. There's no way. Sorry.
Bernie had a rally in Utah?
hmm
Oh, wow.
Well,
Didn't
he's
know
already
that.
projected to win here, so by
Oh,
quite a bit.
great.
You guys want to switch over to politics real quick?
Okay, go for it, Whitney. I know you're dying to.
Well,
I know you're
okay,
dying
it's
to.
just the news. All I have to say is the candidates Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar dropped out, and
Yes.
Yep.
they're like using their whatever power they have to help Joe Biden,
Yeah.
who's
Oh my God.
the establishment favorite because he won South Carolina. Even
It's like,
the
yeah,
media
he's
is
on a
wrong.
roll. He won one state.
I know, isn't that like it's so ridiculous now that I see the
Oh my
media for
God.
like what they are doing. Like it's whoa, Okay.
It's the timing is extremely suspicious. I mean, the day before Super Tuesday,
Right.
extremely suspicious. It to me, it confirms. Well, it just lays bare of if anyone still doubts that the DNC simply will do anything to stop Bernie, anything.
Yeah.
So by having these two folks drop out, maybe they're thinking more people will vote for Joe, giving him more delegates so that Bernie does not get a majority of delegates, only gets a plurality. And then we're off to a brokered convention. Then the super delegates kick in, and then the nomination is stolen from Bernie.
And
That's the
we
plan.
burn it fucking down if that happens.
And I really think if that happens, you're going to see shit hit the fan in Milwaukee.
Big time. Shit's going to hit the fan all over the place when that happens. They can't get away with that. Trump will be elected again for one. That's going to be the first result. Who's going to get behind a fucking cheater? I mean, I couldn't believe people got behind cheater in 2016. Okay, I think even less people will get behind the cheater this time. So, sorry, not happening. Will not go for whoever the fuck steals it from Bernie. If Bernie gets the plurality, he should get the nomination. Period. End of story. If he doesn't get it, Trump wins in 2020, no matter what.
Okay, listen to this here. Okay, these are the people who just endorsed Joe Biden. I haven't even read the names yet. It's going to get funnier.
It's funny. People endorse Joe Biden. What?
Listen to these names and tell me if there's any difference between corporate Dems and Republicans. These are the people who today came out endorsing Joe Biden: Dick Cheney, Henry Kissinger, Paul Wolfowitz, George W. Bush.
Horrible people, war criminals.
Just Joe Biden is like a Republican in a way, right? Like his policies match with Republican. He could be called a light Republican or something, I mean, that's who they want.
So why don't you people call him creepy Uncle Joe? Because he is.
He's terrible.
Just push that. He's a creeper.
Yeah.
No Bernie under the bus, says Pink. Yeah, I mean, seriously, do you really? Okay, how many of you would vote for the person that cheated Bernie this go round? I want to know. Let's also poll the people in the chat. If you would vote for the person that threw Bernie under the bus, the person that cheated Bernie, will you please make yourself known on there? Say yes, I would vote for that person. If not,
make
say
yourself
fuck no.
known.
Say just I want to know, and then I want to know from you three. Would you? Because I'm a definite fuck no. I will not vote for someone who cheated Bernie. That's a fuck no, big fuck no for me.
Yeah, this anyone, but any blue vote blue, no matter who. Yeah, that's the same. No, not over here. I will probably write in Bernie's name.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that. I'm gonna say fuck no too.
Yes.
Sorry about the language.
Hell no.
But I would probably write in Bernie's name.
You can do that.
Sandy says, let's not jump over the cliff and maybe there won't be a cheat. It's okay, you won't know tomorrow. After tomorrow, you won't know. If Bernie wins tomorrow and he goes to the national convention, they're probably going to cheat him with the super delegates because they'll go to a second ballot unless he has over 50%. Doesn't matter if he has a plurality. And they've already set
that's
it
what I
up.
basically just said.
Huh?
That's basically what I just said. That with Amy and Pete dropping out, the whole point is so that Joe gets over to 15%. He starts getting some delegates, preventing Bernie from getting a majority of delegates. Now he only has a plurality, so now you have a brokered convention. Then the super delegates kick in.
Exactly. That's what I've said forever. I've said that since the beginning of this fucking bullshit election cycle. It's like they're gonna cheat Bernie, but I hope they don't. But I think they will, and if they do, I'm not fucking voting for the person that they fucking throw in
and
there.
that just reinforces them doing this over and over again. And
exactly.
Yeah, they did it in 2016. Are you gonna fucking let them get away with it again? I didn't want to let them get away with it then. I didn't vote for fucking Hillary Clinton. I thought people who voted for that bitch is stupid. I voted for Jill Stein. I mean, you might as well have voted for Trump if you voted for fucking Clinton, because they're the same fucking person. They're both
there wasn't a good
elite
choice.
bullshit artists who wanted to destroy the environment to profit and make money. That's it. Yeah, make money, profit, same thing. Anyway, you know what I mean. But it seems like it's a majority.
I also voted for
Okay,
Jill.
Paul says I'd likely vote Democrat no matter what. Paul, really?
I'll vote for the person who comes up with a cure for the coronavirus. If they can do that, they
wouldn't even
deserve
vote
to
for
win.
that person.
You guys are funny.
Otherwise, no.
Okay,
Okay,
they were
so
going to steal a lot of delegates in California, but Bernie will win California.
so tomorrow is going to be huge in terms of the narrative, because ever since the South Carolina primary, it's been like Joe Biden's making this comeback. I'm like, did you not just see the 3 states? Like, they're totally wiping out what just happened. Like,
I know.
it's crazy.
Let's start all over again because Biden just won.
Yeah, he didn't do well in Nevada.
What?
Which has,
Forget that he got this minute little.
One more thing. Sorry. The South Carolina, like the general, that is red. So if you want to come and say Joe Biden's got this by winning South Carolina, he's not going to win that state in the general, and that's his base. Like that doesn't give me like hope or some,
Biden
whatever.
Wouldn't win anyway. It doesn't matter. Anyone who cheats Bernie will not win, because they will fracture the party so much that they will not come and vote. They're not going to be excited to vote for someone who cheated Bernie. If Bernie gets the plurality of delegates voting, by voting, not fucking super delegates, but by people voting, and they still cheat him, Trump will win. So, oh my God. How hard is it to get through people's head? Don't fucking let.
And then we got Donald Trump Jr. next.
Hey, Whitney, Whitney, did you vote already, or are you going tomorrow?
I was an early voter. I got the mail-in ballot.
Okay. Oh, so you got the mail-in ballot. So have you submitted that?
All right, guys. Yes, I did.
There she goes. Congrats.
Sorry.
No, seriously, Whitney, did you already mail your ballot in?
Yes, I did it like early February.
Because Greg Pallas has been talking a lot about some of the bullshit going on in with the voting, and how if people come in with a mail-in ballot and they want to actually vote in the primary, you need to specifically request a crossover ballot. And you have to bring in the envelope as well as the ballot itself to the voting place.
I don't want to tell a story, but my husband, Christopher, I'll use Christopher instead of Chris. Okay. He went down to the poll, and sorry, he's not going to know I'm telling this, but he went down to the poll. They rejected him even though he's registered for Los Angeles County. And they said, you have to have that pamphlet, as you just said, Jim. So we go back, we got to find it, and then he can vote. So there's, coming election day, there's going to be so many problems.
Oh, this is for it to happen.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It's all part of the rigging. So that's why you need not just the ballot, but the envelope it came in as well. And then you have to specifically request crossover ballot.
Yes. That's wild.
They won't voluntarily give it to you. You have to specifically requested.
And who's gonna bring that? Like, so if you haven't voted already, right? Like tomorrow on election day, if people get screwed over, they're probably not gonna have enough time to even like fix it. So
No.
They're planning on that.
This is going to be.
They're counting on that in California. They're counting on it. And I don't know how anyone could vote for a cheat ass party like that. After that, I just don't understand it. I'm sorry. 2016 was hard enough for me to take. The people still voted for fucking Hillary Clinton after all that. You should have voted for Jill Stein. If you believed in those values, you should have voted for Jill Stein. Fuck the Democratic Party at that point because they cheated him. I don't know how anyone can do the blue no matter who thing. I just can't do it. You're not going to get anybody better than fucking Trump if you do that. Seriously.
Oh, I got another. This one was cool.
Oh,
it's like
that's
FDR.
Cool. Yeah, it is like FDR.
That's why I like Bernie Sanders, because he does like embody this message of the 1930s. Yeah, the work girl. I like that. Oh, burn, baby, burn. You know what? Now we're gonna bring out. 1 second.
What, did I miss something?
Battling Bernie things.
By the way, Chris, I did vote for Jill in 2016 and 2012.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there you go. You got the hat. There we go.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you ladies look great. Jim, where's your hat?
I don't wear hats. Okay. Well, other than ones that keep my ears warm.
Gotta pick a side now.
Yeah, they both look awesome.
I've not been invested in this election. However, I still secretly root for Bernie. Sorry, always have. But
here.
Well, he talks about the climate crisis. I know there's issues with the whole situation, the Green New Deal and stuff, but at least he would normalize the conversation. I feel like, I don't know, would Joe Biden would do that? We've seen Trump.
Emails to donate another $50. I always get emails. I don't know. I don't recall that one because I don't look at all my emails. I get so many. I mostly get text messages from Bernie people. Like I get like 5 a day from Bernie people.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they're like, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" I'm like,
Can I ask you something? Huh? Bernie Bros, is that for just men or women? When they say Bernie Bros,
they're trying to insinuate that Bernie only has men, and the only women who are voting for Bernie are the ones trying to impress the men's supporters who are sexist and racist Bernie Bros.
Okay, I didn't know. I always see the Bernie Bros. I'm like, what's that supposed to mean?
It's stupid. It's stupid. Trump will chew up Biden and spit him out on the debate stage. Absolutely, Pink. Jim has Bernie Muckalux.
Muckalux, yeah.
Oh, Zombie, you're so funny.
Muckalux are very warm.
2008. I love Stein in 2012. Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't really involved in 2012, so.
Muckalux are very warm.
Sandy from Environmental Coffee House. Joe Biden cannot normalize any conversation. I heard him tonight, and he was just awful. Okay. Remember, he's like, put a record player on, or just like schools. It's just like, what is
incomprehensible? You don't understand.
Text 330 to joe.com.
The one party system in the U.S. There never was freedom or democracy in the U.S. Absolutely, Robert Arahu. I said that right.
As Jimmy Dore famously said, 2 cheeks of the same ass.
Exactly. I love Jimmy Dore. If you don't listen to Jimmy Dore, people, there's something wrong with you. You need to listen. I love Jimmy Dore. I'm sorry. He's awesome.
1 more second, guys. Hold
on. Okay, it's hot. Okay, it's almost time to get out of here, guys, because I have to work tomorrow. It's hotter than hell in here. It's election day tomorrow, which is going to make it really hard to.
Yeah, news is popping.
Done. I'll be like watching my phone. What's happening?
Yeah, maybe your guy will get it this year. Maybe. Who knows?
I doubt it. They're going to cheat him. But that'll be fun to watch the revolution afterwards. Everyone fighting. Because I think they'll be sick of it if they do it again. I just do. I just think people will have had enough because they did it in 2016. I can't believe that people had the wherewithal to get him this far this time. Because I definitely didn't have the fight I did in 2016, but somebody did. He must have brought in new supporters. So
We need a yellow vest movement in this country. We really do.
Yeah, something like that. Jim Garrison is here. Welcome, Jim Garrison. Daniel Gallmeyer. Bernie or bust again. Yep, exactly. My record player is broke, says Jim Garrison. SG, me too. You see it, Sanders sisters. Okay, I guess that's a thing. Sanders sisters. I'm definitely a Sanders sister.
Okay.
Bio is here. Bio, where have you been? Dude, I've missed you this whole time. Michael Cooper, I want a Bernie bro shirt. That'd be fun. but Bio, you're not for Bernie. I don't think. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, we got to get out of here. Any last words, you guys? Or last comments to read? Go through comments.
I think the winner will be last man standing. It won't be votes. It'll be the last candidate who doesn't get coronavirus. That's my opinion.
Well, hopefully Trump gets coronavirus. That's where
It's a very high possibility. I don't know what they're doing to protect them. You know,
I don't know
they've got to
either.
be doing
I took
something.
off my glasses. I'm supposed to be looking smart. Sorry.
It's amazing. You raised 20 IQ points.
Damn it. I forgot to look smart. Fuck. Oh, God. Hans is here, too. 2026 will remember the good old 2020. Okay. Free Assange, genius. We got to remember Assange. Definitely. You're right.
I hope he doesn't come here because he's dead.
Bio's on Trump's side on this one. I knew it. Bio. We love you anyway. You know how I feel, but we love you anyway.
They all just need to do what you say, Christine. Just make it simple.
Simple, stupid. Anthony says I can just go about anywhere in Dallas and I see absolutely nobody wearing MAGA hat or Bernie t-shirt. Dallas is stone cold dead in the water and only cares about buying cases of water. Well, at least they're worried about survival. Maybe they're smarter than other places. I don't know.
Well, I'll leave you with this little interesting thought. There is one animal that the coronavirus would never affect.
Let me guess.
Insects?
This is going to be a joke, right?
It is a joke.
It is a joke.
It's a T-Rex. Its arms are too short. It could never reach its face with its short front arms.
That's cute. Okay. All right. So I got the transition screen on since I haven't fixed my stream deck yet. Damn it. I have to actually change screens to do this.
So what's next in the week for you, Christine?
Women's Wednesday. Me and Whitney and whoever other women are always welcome to join. But you're still on for Wednesday, right?
Yes, and my internet will not go out this time. Oh, God.
Otherwise, I might have to drag in a honorary woman because there's not too many women who will go on. I don't know why they're so chicken shit. Damn it, women. Stop it.
Yeah, women.
Stop being chicken shit. Be strong. Be stronger than the men. Do it. Just do it. Okay.
Does everybody know what holiday is this Sunday that is not celebrated in the U.S. but around the rest of the world?
No.
Okay, a holiday that's not in the U.S. but celebrated around the rest of the world.
Especially Europe and basically all the way up to Asia.
No clue. Sorry.
Women's Day, March 8th.
Really?
International Women's Day. Yep.
Makes sense they wouldn't celebrate that
so,
in the U.S.
To all the ladies, happy Women's Day.
Thank you, Jim. That's sweet. Okay.
You got on their good side?
All right. Val,
I'm probably not going to be communicating with Christine until next Monday, which is after the fact. So there.
Well, I appreciate that, Jim. That's so sweet.
Oz was asking you, what's the date for the first Progressive Utah show?
I don't know, Oz. When did you work it out with oh my gosh, Josh?
So you're gonna call it Pro Gut?
Progut. Progut. Progressive Utah. Yeah. Oz, call me tomorrow. We'll talk about it. Okay. Love y'all. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat right now, so I can't see it because I have to transition the freaking screen and I can't have the chat on at the same time. I need another screen.
That looks like you got 4 arms going there.
I know. I gotta do this and that and the other thing. All right, Whitney, any last words?
Super Tuesday tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Yes, we'll
It'll be
definitely be
crazy.
talking about it on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
Whatever happens.
Clock. Don't forget Saturday into Sunday morning. Move your clocks up an hour.
Oh, is it already that?
Oh no.
Not already.
And Equinox is on March 19th this year.
Spring's coming.
Yay, spring.
And my last statement is please support Christine so she can possibly do this full time one day. I hope.
Thanks, Val. Yeah, one day, I hope. Before the world ends. That would be nice.
Before the world ends. Have the Natural Progressive on 5 days a week instead of 2.
That would be nice.
And possibly 3.
I would totally do that. Okay. Maybe even 7 days a week. Who knows? Anyway.
Only hope.
All right, guys. Love y'all. Thanks for coming. We will see you on Wednesday, 7 p.m., same time, same station.
See you Wednesday.
Women's Wednesday, Dames of Doom on me and Whitney, and anyone else who's female and wants to show up. So
be there or be square.
We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.